Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson presents guest host Artie Hoffman, Angels and Answers.
Hello and welcome everyone. This is Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson, me. And tonight we have a very special guest on our show tonight, Mr. Artie Hoffman. Artie has been a master level psychic, comedian, and spiritual advisor for over 3 decades and has helped change the lives of thousands of individuals who had turned to him for answers and guidance. His strong faith and natural intuitiveness, coupled with his ability to provide emotional understanding, makes him a preeminent spiritual therapist with foresight. That's pretty awesome. A nationally renowned speaker, healer, and radio personality, Artie's weekly radio show, Angels and Answers, gives listeners a chance to connect with him from anywhere in the U.S. People call in to discuss a variety of topics from love and relationships, career, finance, and family life to communicating with their deceased loved ones. Welcome, Artie. How are you doing?
That was a pretty damn good introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, not bad for a guy who can barely read because I'm blind as shit.
That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good, I got to tell you. Yeah, what I love about what I do, I always wanted to be a counselor, going through junior high and high school. I always felt I had a knack with people, but I sucked at school.
Me too.
I just didn't have the patience
to
go through the degree and the year. To me, school was a social breeding ground.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed it for the fact of, being with friends and stuff, but it always stressed me out too, because I always froze up with tests and quizzes. And like I said, I wasn't the best student. I was well liked, but I wasn't the best student.
Right.
And so what's really cool is that at the age of 27, when I learned to develop my abilities, like you said, I've been doing it for over 3 decades right now. And I've read for over 33,000 people in my life.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So from getting all the spiritual messages from the Holy Spirit, from the angels, from deceased loved ones, from my guides, your guides, it's funny, I never went to college, but in my book, and I wrote 2 books.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
you are an author as well.
Right. Author is the author.
Awesome, right? You should put that on a shirt.
So even though I didn't go to college, in my book, Angels and Answers, I have a book called Angels and Answers. So in that book, it says I went to college for 2 years at the University of Maryland and Boston, but that was just to visit my friends. And so what's really cool, because I intuitively learned to develop that ability with my intuitive gift, I've been able to counsel people, and I didn't need a certificate. I didn't need to go to college. My ex-wife.
I was just going to say that you are already a counselor in a sense to people, especially when you're talking to them, because you're going to get a message and then interpret it to them a way that makes them understand it, and you have a sense to how they're going through it as well, the feelings that they're going through, and then you can console them at the same time.
Exactly, because it's not always the problem that's the problem.
Right.
It's how you choose to deal with the person or the situation.
Absolutely.
And so when you give people a clear perception and understanding of what's going on, then you handle yourself much better, and it gives you power, it gives you confidence. And so that's what I do. I give people back their power and confidence.
Yeah, because we have to take that back.
I help heal people's hearts when they lose a loved one. So a lot of people call me their psychic therapist. And my ex-wife, which is why she is my ex-wife, she was a social worker, and she had to go to school to get her master's and all for like 5-6 years or whatever. And she spent tens of thousands of dollars and always paying off loans and not making the money she deserves. And here I am,
hello,
and then here I am, making a pretty good living at doing what I do and giving people the right answers. And so she kind of resented me for that.
Oh, absolutely.
And she turned it into a competition, and I didn't want to compete. I I would support her, and I was looking for her to support me, and I wasn't getting the support from her that I feel that I deserved. So, being that we couldn't compromise too well, or the communications weren't that good, I said screw it. So I moved on. But but
Blitzville.
yeah, but the thing is that I mean, I'm not here to talk about my relationship, but I mean, it is
Part of it.
challenging
It's part of
as
it.
a psychic
Yes.
to be in a relationship,
With
a
someone who
solid
gets,
relationship. I tried it quite a few times,
yes.
and it is challenging because I personally, because I do what I do, and I'm different than most people. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else,
No, we're just different.
but I am clearly different than most people, and so I see things through different eyes, and it's just the way that I am. So, and being that most of my clients are women, so I'm
Right.
looking for a girl that is very confident within herself, who has
Right.
a good sense of humor, who's spiritual, and so like I said, but I'll date women, and I'll date these girls, or I'll hang with them because I'm the type of person who does love a relationship, but
You do.
I'd rather be just in one solid monogamous relationship and call it a day. But my luck has not turned out that way. So I just learn to take each day as it comes. And I have a lot of female friends that I enjoy hanging time with. But yeah, it is frustrating being a psychic just for that reason alone.
Right.
I mean, yes, I'm appreciated by thousands of people, and I help thousands of people, and I entertain thousands of people, and it's really cool. On a personal note, it
Not
is
easy.
a little more challenging, but I
Yes.
am comfortable within myself also. I really am. So, but I've
To be
learned
who you
to,
are, you have to be comfortable.
yeah, I've learned to just appreciate, the beautiful uh, gifts and the beautiful that God has given me, and the relationships in my life that I really appreciate and enjoy. And like I said, the missing link in my life is to be able to solidly, live a comfortable life with somebody. So I envy people like that. But the reason why I'm like that, I learned from my parents' mistake. My parents were married. It's going to sound ironic what I'm about to say. My parents were married for 64 years. And
Wow.
I
Good.
said to my mother, I said, Ma, you hung in there about 60 years too long. And she goes, well, I wouldn't have had you boys because I have two older brothers. And so I said, but I would have followed you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but my parents had most of their life, most of their marriage was literally not happy. And so living in a household like that, I mean, my mother was the saint of all saints. She was an awesome person, and my father had a very challenging, difficult personality to live with. So I've learned over the years that you try your best in a relationship, and just know when the show is over. After you've
Yeah.
tried all avenues, and after you try to compromise, and after the communication, if the chemistry isn't there, or the person isn't appreciating who you are, where you're coming from, and vice versa for you to
Right.
them as well. If you're not accepting each other for who you are, know when the show is over.
Right. Move on. Yeah.
Move on. And so that's very, very important. You know, I mean, yes, I am not only a psychic and a medium, but I'm also a life coach and a counselor too. And, and I know that there's a reason why I'm instantly talking about this topic, because I know that there are certain listeners that are saying, aha, oh yeah, I can relate. And my second book that I wrote is mostly based on relationships. And it's a relationship not just with a lover, but it's also with your kids, with your
Right.
family, with your friends, but also a relationship with yourself.
Right. You have to
And
love yourself. I tell people all the time, you have to be something for yourself before you can be something for someone else.
right, it's very important. And to make somebody else responsible for your happiness is the biggest mistake that you could do.
Yeah.
You want to be able to share who you are with other people, or share moments of happiness with other people, and allow yourself to receive.
Yes.
And and that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is that they have a tendency to live through the other person,
Right.
whether it be their lovers or their kids. They
Right.
live their life through them rather than having their own life. And I'll share my life with you rather than share my life through you.
Right. Because when the kids leave, then they're left with like, I don't know what to do now because I was living through everything through them, and they themselves don't have an actual life at that point.
Right. And they have to reinvent themselves at that
Yeah.
point.
And that's hard when you get older.
Right. And a lot of times in relationships, the mother and father in the relationship, they only remain as the mommy and the daddy, and they forget about connecting
Who they were
with each
before.
other
Yeah.
and dating each other. It's
Yeah.
very important to date each other and to love each other and appreciate one another. But if you don't have that chemistry, where you find it more annoying to be with your partner, or you feel offended at the fact that they're still breathing.
Well, that happens, but you know.
You breathe and you talk and you just offend me. I can't take you anymore. Stop doing that thing that you do.
Yeah, well, from the time when my parents were together and when your parents were together, divorce didn't happen back then. They
It happened
stuck
very
through it.
rarely.
Yeah, they stuck through it.
And my mother had many outs because I offered her, my two
Sure.
brothers offered her, because my father is very challenging. Now, I'm going to share with you something with your audience that a very interesting concept that I've learned, oh my God, probably over 30 years ago, but it's so powerful. When it comes to marriage, when it comes to relationship, there's two meanings behind the words, till death do you part. Now, there's the physical, religious aspect, and then there's the spiritual aspect of those words.
Right.
The religious aspect in the physical world, I love you forever and always till death do us part, which means literally until one of us physically dies. We're
Right.
together no matter what, come hell to high water, till death do us part.
They
We are
believe there's a
married.
cutoff. Right. There's a cutoff, but no.
There's not a cutoff. It's just
No.
until death do us part, for better or for worse, which unfortunately a lot of times it's for worse. Now, the true meaning of those words spiritually, till death do us part, we shall always be together unless if one of our hearts die in the relationship.
Right.
If one of our hearts die in the relationship, till death do us part.
Right. We should do that here as well. And even divorced or separation within a relationship should just be as easy as, well, it didn't work out for me, it didn't work out for you. Okay, pat you on the shoulder, see you later. But people here want to bring in emotions, and they want to bring in anger and sorrow and grief and guilt and all that other crap that we learned here in this world. And then they want to beat each other up over it for the rest of their lives while they're here, when they shouldn't do that. We should just agree that it's time to separate. I don't feel the same way. Hey, neither do I. Let's move on and find what we really need, some real happiness, because you have to be happy within yourself. You can't get into a relationship with someone and then expect to get happiness from them. You have to be happy, and then they're just the cherry on top of the cake.
Exactly. And to make a relationship healthy, it's all about communication and compromise.
It's work.
It's work. It does take work. It's communication and compromise to let the other person know how you feel. And just because you're yelling at somebody or expressing your emotions with yelling or screaming or frustration, that's really not a lot. That's really not letting your emotions out. That's your frustration, your ego letting
Right.
it out.
Right.
But when you're talking, explain, why are you upset or why are you angry? That now you're going to talk from a soulful level and explain your emotions. Honey, I don't appreciate it when you ... or I would appreciate it if you would ... whatever it is. So when you could express what you're upset about, or not, or disappointed about, or what you think should be changed, or maybe we could work out a compromise. If the other person is not taking your feelings into consideration, right away they're telling you, I don't care about you, I only care about me, which tells you
Right.
it's not a healthy relationship.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. Totally agree.
And
Yeah.
so
I have found that myself. My wife totally gets me. She understands me. I don't know if I explained it in the beginning, but I do what you do. I'm a medium, a spirit medium, and this is what I do. And it took me a long time. I didn't find out I was a medium until right before my 50th birthday, but I was already with her. But when I told her what was going on, it took a long time for her to be able to accept it as well, but she does now and everything's fine. But I can't imagine being a single guy being this, because shoo, it's a lot for someone to take on.
it really is. And you know, it's also about, when you're in a relationship, it's about accepting each other for who they are, and
Yes.
not what you want, just what you want them to be. But
Yes.
when you could accept the other person for who they are, and then you could decide, well, the person who I'm with, is this somebody that I could share my life with, whether it be
Right.
on a close, intimate level, whether it be on a marriage level, whether it be maybe just as friends or acquaintance, maybe not at all. But the bottom line is, you need to decide, are you able to accept your partner or the other person for who they are? And if not, that's when I say know when the show is over. But it's all about chemistry. It's
Oh,
very
absolutely.
important to have chemistry with each other. If you don't have chemistry, and if you don't have
You got enough.
trust, you don't
Yeah.
have shit. You could love the person out of 10, but if you don't
Yeah.
have chemistry, and if you don't have trust, you don't have jack crap.
Yeah, relationship is about, you accepting my bullshit and I'm accepting your bullshit, and then us coming together and deciding we're going to do this together. But if you can't do that, if you can't accept the other person, because I was in a band for years, played drums, so I always had women coming up to me all the time, and every time I had a girlfriend, they would always get super jealous, and I said, but this is what I do. Same thing with this. I had the percentage of my clients that come to me are, it's 90% women, and she has to be able to deal with that, to go, okay, he's going to be around a lot of women, and I happen to be around a lot of good-looking women too. But but that's besides the point. But yeah, she has to be able to be okay with that, and finding that. I can't imagine what kind of feelings would go through my mind, because I'm intimately talking to these women, holding their hands and seeing who's with them, and getting a feel for and connecting with them on a much higher level than you would just somebody you're talking to in a bar. So yeah, it's a lot, and it's got to be a lot for someone else to be able to grasp that and be okay with who you are as a person doing what you do.
Well, I'll tell you, as a medium, what helps me focus. So, all right, assuming, I mean, I do this automatically. It just helps me on the ego end. Like you said, you know, there's many clients who I find very attractive, or who have smashing, awesome personalities.
Right.
But what I do to help me focus, and I don't do it just to distract me away from them, but I do it to connect to the spiritual world. So when I look away and I'm looking in the corner, I'm looking out the window, I'm not focusing on my, oh, wow, you're a nice looking girl, or you have a nice personality, or you have nice personalities.
I met them.
Yeah, I met them.
I dated them.
But I close my eyes, or I look out in a different direction, and I allow myself to drift off and stay in that
Sure,
world. And
sure.
also, when I try to explain that, you know, some girls think that, actually, a few girls have gotten offended because I don't look at them,
I'm not looking at them. Yeah,
or I'm not, or they think that I'm not, you know, I'm being very impersonable with them. And I
right.
said, no, I said, I'm just trying to focus on what it is I'm trying to accomplish for you. And
Yeah.
so I can't get distracted. You know, it's like this. This is the best way to describe it. So if I said to you, can you name me two actors from, say, the movie Back to the Future? So when you're talking, or or you're thinking, you're in that thinking state, you're not going to look at me and think. You're going to go like this. You're going to look away, go,
Right.
you know, your
Um,
mind drifts. You look away, and you're in that mode of, oh, what was that actor or actress's
Focus.
name in that movie?
Yeah.
So you look away. You're not looking at the person. So
Right.
as a medium, or as a psychic, I look away and I get myself involved in the spiritual world, but yet just because I'm not physically looking at them, but the information that comes through is so personal or so
Right.
powerful that they do appreciate the fact that, I am who I am and I do it the way that I do. You
Yeah.
know, I jokingly say with my friends, but I actually mean it, but I say it jokingly. What I do for a living is better than Match.com.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
you know,
Yeah, absolutely. And when they get up and walk away, you go, "Damn, she was good looking."
yeah.
Because you can't deny that we are men and women. We are social beings here, and this is what we're. I'm attracted to women because I'm attracted to women. It's just the way it is. I can't deny it.
Well, it's just
I'm,
like if you're, it's just like you said, you're in a band, or if you're a bartender, if you're a waiter or a waitress, or
you're in
you're
that
in the
business,
public's eye, or, you're dealing with the public, there's always going to be somebody, the important thing is that you don't gawk at them. The important thing is that you don't turn into a dog. So
right?
I do handle myself very professionally. I'm very personable. I
Right.
feel
Me
like
too.
that's one of my major assets to my life is my, I would say, my personable personality. But I'm not a promiscuous person in that way,
Right.
because then people would not respect me for
Right. I
who
was
I
just
am
gonna
and
say
what I
that.
do.
They
So I have
respect you
to
for it.
keep that professionalism. I mean, I do joke around and I do have a flirtatious personality, but
Me too.
the most important thing is that I that I sustain my, my mediumship, my professionalism and stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Yeah. If like me, you see dead people like I do, and if you can't have a sense of humor, there's something wrong with you because all the things we see and all the things that we hear, you got to have a sense of humor.
oh my God. And the people who have passed away, they have a great sense of
They are
humor.
awesome.
They're,
Yeah.
yeah, they're
It's like
not
all the
morbid.
shit.
A lot of people think, oh, are they still hurting? Do they still have cancer? Are they
Oh no.
angry? Are they upset? Are they, no, no, no. All that shit goes away. Once they leave the earth, all those earthly things, the pains, the emotional pressures, all the financials, that all goes away. Now,
All
now it's up
gone.
to the people who are left behind that have to deal with all the shit. But they themselves, I say, you're allowed to miss them, but you're not allowed to worry about them. And
Right.
I said, worrying about them is like worrying about them while they're lying on the beach of Hawaii sucking on iced teas, and you're worried
Absolutely.
if they're okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Because Spirit tells me all the time they love a good joke. So, because they let go of their pain, their anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, all that stuff. And when you're just that person, you're able to let go of all that. When you're being yourself on the beach, you don't care about nothing else. You're just enjoying yourself, and that's what they're doing. They don't
Right.
hold grudges against people. They're not hating you from somewhere else.
Now, sometimes they might feel compassion for you
Sure.
because you're being taken advantage of, or the
Right.
will wasn't divvied up the right
Right.
way, or you're still with the relationship you don't belong with, or
Right.
your kids just, got put in jail, or there's not that connection with the family or friends or with your spouse. There's reasons, so they have compassion for you and they feel bad or upset.
Right.
But
They're looking out for you.
they're not angry, taking it personally,
No.
but they are observing what's going on in your life and having compassion. So they are there to try to help you with your life,
Yeah.
but they can't dictate.
Right. They want to help us ease us through our lives the best we can. They're not here to fix our lives. If you screwed up your life, it's up to you to fix it. But they want to try to help us get through it the best way we can. So they're trying to look out for us and trying to help us in that way. But the only problem with that is, as you know, not everybody listens.
So I'm going to share with you an interesting concept. One of my friends, I call him Dr. Steve, and he taught theology in college, nighttime courses for adults. And one of his students came up to him and asked him this question. He didn't know how to answer it. And so he asked me this question. And he said to me, he says, Art, one of my students came up to me and asked me, is the mind, body, and spirit individuals, or are they all one? And so I sat there for a few seconds because I didn't know the answer when he gave it to me. And I sat there and meditated for a few seconds, like within 30 seconds. And I said to him, the mind creates, the
Yes.
body responds,
Yes.
and the soul observes.
Yes. Because the soul's here to learn.
The soul is there to understand and to observe what's going on. And so it will emotionally feel what the mind has created and how the body responds.
Yes.
Now, if you are not now, you have the ego and the soul. So I said to him, wait, getting back to that. So I said to him, the mind, body, and spirit, they are individual, but they act as one.
Right.
So it's just like the car. It's like the car. It's like the transmission, the engine, the wheels, the steering wheel. They are all the wheels. They're all individuals, but yet they all act as one.
They all work in tandem.
Right, to make it work, to make it happen.
Yeah, because
So they all have.
the soul is here to learn, but the only way it can do that is by being within this meat suit that it has to be in to physically do these things.
Actually, the soul already knows everything, but the
Oh,
soul
yeah.
needs to experience. It
Yes,
hasn't experienced everything it
human
knows.
experience. Yep, the human experience.
It's having, right, we're soulful people having a human experience.
Yep.
And when you're caught in your own maze, it's hard to see. So people like
Yes.
you and myself and other mediums or psychics, people would think that we always have the answers for ourselves, and we don't, because we're
No.
trapped in our own maze.
Yeah, we're doing this too.
We're doing this thing too. We just happen to be able to stand on top of your maze and give you direction,
Right.
or whatever. And that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we have to jump down in that maze too and get to the end as well.
Exactly. That's very true.
And there's usually no piece of cheese there.
I'm sorry?
There's usually no piece of cheese there either.
Right. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. He also asked me, he goes, Artie, he goes, what's your concept of Jesus? He goes, do you really believe that Jesus, because we're both Jewish, and he said, do you really believe Jesus is the Son of God? And again, I didn't know how to properly answer him that question, and not just give him an answer just based on my religious beliefs or based on what I personally believe. I wanted to know that question on a deep spiritual note. And so I sat there for a minute and I looked at him and I said, yes, I said, Jesus is the Son of God. I said, but no more than you and I are the Son of God.
Right. We are all his children. Absolutely.
We are all his children. I said, he just happens to be very highly evolved.
Yes.
Of understanding of love and wisdom at its ultimate level.
Yes. Well, I tell people all the time, the reason he was able to come here and heal people and to turn water was because it was the first time and only time his soul had ever been here. He was that connected to it and able to do it. And he was trying to tell us that we could get back to that type of level too. But you know what happened in that story. So didn't work out too well, did it? No.
I know. But at the same token, when you look at history, it's very interesting, talk about how a negative could turn into a positive.
Sure.
So let's say Jesus wasn't crucified. What would people be holding on to or praying to if the cross didn't exist?
Right.
The cross is so powerful because it's a representation of Jesus. So if it wasn't for that horrific experience back then what would you be holding on to? I'm sure there might have been something else.
Right. But
it served an incredible purpose.
Oh, absolutely. It was a lesson for everyone to learn.
So it's just amazing. And there's so many other souls that have come to earth that did and do have the powers that Jesus has had and does have. And so, do I personally follow Jesus as my savior? I will say this. Do I believe in his abilities? Do I believe in his love? Do I believe in his existence? The answer is yes.
Me too.
Do I look at him as my personal savior? No, I don't. And it's my religious belief of how I come to understand. But then I also expressed to people that Jesus was Jewish himself. And so before I was born into this world, I said to God, I said, look, Moses was Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. Why reinvent the wheel? Throw me into a Jewish family.
That's the way it worked for you, didn't it? It worked out. And
it kind of worked out for me. And
it worked out for you.
And we got the Jewish shtick. We got the Jewish sense of humor. You know, you never see Jesus, or very rarely. You always see him when they present him. They always show him as suffering or somber, or you very rarely will see Jesus as the happy-go-lucky, the joking person, or the loving. You know that. Well, yes, loving, but not that. But I'm sure he's had a sense of humor or something funny, or.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably turned around and said, hey, did you hear the one about the two rabbis and the priest?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He was a person, he's just like us.
It's funny. I just got an email sent to me, and the guy came home with two rabbis, and they were, and he had both his arms around both rabbis. One was on his right side, one was on his left side. And his wife said to him, I said, bring home two ribeyes.
Hello, this is Daniel Jackson of Beyond the Veil. We are proudly being sponsored by The Rare Enterprise. To really choose your reality, you must have the right tools to facilitate it correctly. The Rare Enterprise has amazing CBD-infused products to help choose your reality when it comes to your skin, emotional, and mental stress. Use the code BTV20 to get a discount on these amazing products. That is BTV20.
Yeah, obviously she doesn't listen to him either. So, yeah, as it comes around, it goes around. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I have a question for you that I noticed when I was watching your show. People ask me this all the time, and I noticed they asked you the same thing all the time. And how do you deal with it? When somebody says, I have a question for Artie, and you say, what do you have? And they say, they give you this one. Do you have anything for me? And I say, and I watch you go, I need you to ask me a specific question. Not just, do you have anything for me?
If it is an individual who I'm having a personal specific reading with, you're allowed to ask that question. When I'm in a public forum,
different.
Then it's a different playing grounds because you're dealing with a lot of different energies.
Right. There's a lot of different energies circling around in that room, and you're not just going to be able to pick on one for just one person at that time.
Right. You can't just say, is there anybody out there who wants to talk to me? The answer is no.
Right.
No. The answer is no. I mean, or what do you have for me? Or what do you see in my future? When I'm in a public forum, no. Ask a specific question, or who do you specifically want to communicate to? Your grandmother, your grandfather, unfortunately, if it's a kid, your child, whatever. But also, like you hear me say on my show, if it's a child you want to get a hold of, let me know. All right, so your relationship is a child, what's their name and how old they are, because I want to understand the reference of the message.
Right. You don't want to interpret it the wrong way.
I don't want to interpret the wrong way the message, because messages comes in many different interpretations.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And you may, because I find this a lot, people ask me, well, I want to talk to my mom. Well, I will have to find out if your mom wants to talk to you, because because they're in a place where they're get to enjoy themselves. They're like on that beach, and they don't always want to be bothered. So, but I will find out for you.
Most of the time I can connect, but there are times where not only will I not connect to who they want to communicate to, and that's only sometimes, but when it does, somebody else will pull through, and they're saying, I don't want to talk to them. I hate them. I'm angry with them. Well, then that's why they pull through, because you need to have closure with somebody who is pulling through for you. That you're not looking at, or you're not hearing, you're not paying attention. And that's why they're here, whether it be to come to a resolution or forgiveness or apologies, whatever it is. But
I always tell people, you may not get the reading that you want, but you will always get the reading that you need.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes when people come to me I'm sorry?
You can use that.
No, but I have. Yeah, that's very good.
Common courtesy here.
Yes, thank you very much. I'll give you all the credit too.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
No problem.
That's awesome. I saw you on your show. I saw you using a pendulum, and I also saw you using angel cards. How long's it been, or when did you start incorporating that into what you do, and why?
Pendulum, I've just started using less than a year ago.
I just started using one a couple months ago.
Less than a year ago. They are pretty interesting.
It is pretty interesting. I had a friend use one in front of me, and she's making it move all this way. It's going all this. And I said, can I try that? Never tried one. She said, sure. And I picked it up and started asking questions. And it's swinging all over the place, answering all my questions. She's like, how did you do that? I've been working with this for 5 years. I said, I don't know. It's our energy. Energy is
exactly.
different. Yeah.
It's like I know how to drive a car. I just don't understand the mechanics of it, but I know how to drive a car.
Yeah, I can drive a car, but I can't drive a stick.
Right. Oh, I could drive a stick.
I wish I could.
I learned how to drive a stick. That was one of the first vehicles I've learned how to drive.
But I do ride a motorcycle, so I can switch gears on that.
Oh, so then you could learn it, no problem.
Yeah, people say that, but I don't want to kill anybody. So
it's very interesting that you should bring that up. You talk about getting signs and messages from God. Well,
yes.
Let me tell you something. I had 2 very powerful messages come to me. After my second divorce, I was so in love with my second wife, and I had to let her go, and it was just too hard. And so it really took away a lot of my self-esteem and confidence after while we were going through a divorce. And so I wanted to do things in my life that I said I would never do.
Sure.
And one of them was scuba diving. Another one was skydiving, because it's 2 extremes. I said, I'll never do that. But at that time, I said, maybe I will do that because I want to go past my personal limitations. I want to go past my fears.
Sure.
I want to deal with my fears. So I said to God in that moment, and I was driving on the Parkway in New Jersey, and I said to God in the moment, I said, God, is it okay for me to go skydiving? Give me a clear sign. In that moment, a car was driving past me and pulled in front of me while driving. And on the license plate, there was a picture of a wheelchair.
That's a big no right there.
That was a big sign in the moment when I asked God that question. Is it okay for me to go skydiving? So you see a picture of a wheelchair.
I'll ride a bicycle from now on.
You don't have to write. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out this one.
No, absolutely not.
So then, my other big sign. I mean, I've had many signs, but my other big sign was 2 winters ago, right before the springtime, I was in the mood to get myself a motorcycle. I've never owned a motorcycle. I rode them when I was younger for a little bit, not much, but a little bit. I enjoyed it.
Sure, it's fun.
Yeah. So I asked God. I said, God, is it okay for me to purchase a motorcycle? I want to own a motorcycle. I want to ride a motorcycle. Within that 1 week, I've heard 3 stories about 3 separate people who died in a motorcycle accident. That's it. I wasn't going to test. And like I said, it's about paying attention to the signs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I've been down on my motorcycle a couple times, but I'm still kicking. I still enjoy it. But yeah, I haven't had anything like a real big scare. But
thank God. Well, always ask
for
that
I thank him all the time.
Light of protection before you go on that motorcycle. Just always ask for that white light of love to protect you from any kind of harm. It's always good to have that extra shield around you.
Yeah, when I see my guides actually all day long. Like when I'm looking at you right now, I actually see them right here around me. If you ever seen somebody smoking a cigarette, and when the smoke billows off the cigarette, it looks like little petals, that's what I see all day long during the day. But at nighttime, I actually see them glowing next to me and stuff like that. But yeah, when I'm out riding my bike, I see them around me all the time. I go, I'm good. Am I good? And they answer me, yep, you're good. Okay. Should I go down this road? Go down that road. Okay. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, God forbid, you hear, where the hell are you? Where are you?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want me to get lost. That's for sure. So let me ask you about the most important question on this list I have for you. Artie's parties. How does that work out?
They're a lot of fun. Artie's parties. That's when people hire me to go to their homes and I read for their friends and family. So sometimes it's a group reading where everyone's in the same room and everyone gets a message.
Sure.
Everyone gets a message. I go to each individual and I don't know if it's going to be psychic or medium, but everyone gets a message when I go into the room.
Because there is a difference, because people don't get that. People don't think there's a difference between psychic and medium, and they don't understand that all the time.
All mediums are psychics at some level, but not all psychics are mediums.
Right.
It's a different energy. It's definitely a different energy.
Absolutely.
And I do switch gears on both of them very quickly. I do have that ability.
Yeah, I call myself a spirit medium. I don't say I'm psychic, but I do get psychic messages. But I don't want to promote that out there because then everybody's coming up to me and saying, what am I thinking?
And say that's a mentalist.
Yes.
Say that's not psychic. That's being a mentalist. That means reading people's minds.
Yes, because people have been conditioned by watching TV and movies thinking all this other stuff this is the way it works when it really doesn't.
I'm going to share with you something funny, being that you just said that. So I'm at a local pizzeria, and the Italian guys, the Guidos, the egos, hey, I'm what's happening, the cool guy on the counter. So anyway, one of the waitresses that worked there came up to me, very pretty girl, and her friend was there also, and I kind of knew her also, acquaintance and stuff. And so they came up to me, and they weren't paying attention so much as to the other tables, but they came up to me, and I was talking to them. I say, hey, Artie, what's up? And so I was giving them like quick little mini readings because they were asking me some questions. And so the guy behind the counter is looking at me doing my thing as I'm just giving them little reads or holding their hand, and they're laughing, or they could tell. The guy could tell behind the counter that the girls were appreciating me. And so anyway, so I was just having my food and stuff, and the guy behind the counter goes, yeah, what's all this bullshit you're throwing at the girls and stuff like that?
You took away his thunder.
He goes, yeah. He goes like this to me. He goes, yeah, you're such a good psychic. He goes, what am I thinking? So I said to him, I know exactly what you're thinking. I says, you're thinking that I'm talking to the girls, just telling them what they want to hear, just so I can get in their pants and win them over. He goes, damn, you're good.
Yeah, you got to catch him on this stuff once in a while, because we know that's what's going on. Because of
course, I was just joking. I was just joking, but when I say, that's how the Guidos think.
There's a little bit of truth in everything.
But it's just like it's all like a cute little flirtatious fantasy, and that's where it stops. So.
Yeah, but it's great. But it's part of it. It gets people interested in that. It gives them it gives you a platform to stand on to get people interested in, and then maybe something else will come after that. Maybe someone will say, "Hey, well, I just met this guy, and maybe we should go get a reading for him." And absolutely.
Yeah, I usually have my cards on hand. I'll give them my cards.
Me too.
But also at an Artie party, people will.
It's an event.
Put me in a private room, and I'll read individuals. I give them individual half-hour readings. And if they want to record their session, they can record their session.
I always tell them to do that. Yes, absolutely. Because then they got something to reference to later. Because sometimes a message is going to come through. It's going to come through a guided message right through, and you're not going to be able to remember it like 6 months later. So
there's too much information for them to remember.
Yes.
I got to tell you a very funny story you're going to appreciate. So here it is, going back. I'm with my second wife, Kathy, and it was my birthday, which happens to be July 4th. And so she said, what do you want to do today for your birthday? I said, I'll be happy with just going to the beach and relaxing at the beach today. I'm fine with that. So we get to the beach, and we're going over this little bridge to get to the beachy area of Point Pleasant, New Jersey. And so when I go over as we're going over the bridge, there's a sign that says boat rides to Manhattan to see the Macy Day fireworks tonight.
Oh, cool.
And I said, I always wanted to see the Macy Day fireworks because their fireworks are always unbelievable. And now to see it on the water, that's even more unbelievable.
Right. The world's a stage at that point, sure.
So I said to my wife, Kathy, I said, let's do that. I said, I want to do that. She goes, okay. So we get on the boat. and it's a pretty full boat. You know, it's a nice sized boat. It's a pretty full boat. And we're going out to Manhattan. And I kept on looking at this one lady, and she stood all of about maybe 4'9", 4'10".
Tiny.
She was short, and she was probably about 10 years older than me too. And I kept looking at her. I said, God, this lady looks so familiar to me. And I couldn't stop looking at her. I'm looking at her because she looks familiar to me. So anyway, it just so happens that my wife, Kathy, and I, we needed to use the bathroom. So we go to the part of the boat where there's a staircase that leads down to the lower part of the boat where the bathroom is. So we both go to the staircase, and that lady that I was talking about, that I kept on looking at, noticing her, she happened to be there at the same time we were. And so she stopped herself and she goes, after you. So I looked at her and I said, excuse me. I said, I feel like I've seen you before. So she puts her hands on her head and she goes, well, Artie, you should. You've been in my bedroom. And my wife and I started to laugh really hard. There was nothing to be intimidated about because she looked like an elf, you know. And so she said, I had an Artie party at my house, so you read for all my friends and family in my bedroom.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you probably went, shoo, yeah.
I don't remember being that kind of drunk.
Yeah, are you into elves now? Awesome, Artie.
Yeah, really. Hey, it was good for me, baby. Was it good for you? What else? What other presents do you got?
Yeah, she looked like she belonged in a tree selling some cookies or something. But yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, you don't want to have to come up with a story for that. Well, yeah, that's funny. So the angel cards. That's what I wanted to know. What brought you into using the angel cards? I've never, because I saw the angel cards you're using. These little tiny cards, and I was like, and I've never seen anyone else use them except for you. So where did you get the? I mean, because I know they help you. Because I mean, you're pulling them, and I was like, and you're getting everything completely correct. Everything. I mean, your show is legit. You know, I mean, you're legit. So that's why I keep watching, because I go, well, this guy's like me, he does everything like me. But then you pulled out those angel cards, and I was like, well, okay, not like me. So, so where did you get the inclination to start using the angel cards?
A friend of mine just was using them, and I saw them, and I just thought that they were awesome.
Connected with you,
you know, and she owned a spiritual shop.
Oh, cool.
And so she was telling me, and she goes, here, just think of a question and pull out a few cards. And so I did, and I was sold right away. It was so accurate. And so those little angel cards that I use give the answers from an emotional standpoint of view, from an emotional point of view. It usually doesn't physically tell me the physical outcomes, but it will tell me emotional outcomes, or emotionally, from an emotional standpoint. But I won't like flip the angel card and say, oh, I see you, you know, you're getting a red car, and, you know, you're going to be going to Washington, D.C. I don't see that. But I got to tell you a very funny story, being that I just said that. So I was about to do a show in Atlantic City, and a girl who knew nothing about psychics and stuff like that. And she goes, so what kind of a show are you performing tonight? I said, well, I'm a psychic and a medium. And she goes, well, what do you mean? Like, what kind of a psychic are you? I said, well, I talk about deep issues or deep personal stuff about, you know, people's lives, and I give them direction, and I connect to their loved ones. I said to her, I'm not like the kind of psychic that will just stand here with you and say, oh, you live in a red house, you have 3 sisters, and you go to Florida. I said, I'm not like that. And she goes, but she looks at me and she goes, but I am, and I do. I go, what are you talking about? I have 3 sisters. I live in a red house. And next week I'm going to Florida for a vacation. I said, oh, I guess I can do that.
Yeah. Here's my card. Wow, that's awesome though. But yeah, you picked up on something. Something just came to you, and you just came right out. But that's good. That at least she was like. After that, did she come to the show?
Actually, she did not. She did not, because it just was not her thing. She was curious.
Yeah, a lot of people are just curious. They're it's not always their thing, but yeah, I get a lot of people who come on my show who don't even want to ask questions. I do a Facebook Live thing as well. They just want to sit and watch, you know. I try to, I do the same thing. I don't want to, oh, you're just going to get this card. No, it's about improving your life and trying and to show you how your life is going to be and how you can make your life better, you know? But
So I
yeah,
want to share with you something that I do, and I don't know if I don't do this with every show, but if you saw enough of my shows, maybe you did see me do
I
this.
have.
But I want you to do this. If you don't do it at your show, I want you to do this and just live on blind faith. Where all of a sudden somebody, a member of the family, or you're just looking into the camera, you're saying, you know what, this is what I'm picking up. You don't have to pick on a specific person, but
Right.
somebody who's watching right now. I know that you have 3 little dogs, you know,
I
and
watch you do that.
huh?
I've seen you do that a bunch of times. You're not specifically talking to the one person, but somebody else out there is, and you're picking up on somebody else who's watching you, and then that way they're going to come in and say, "Yeah, that's me."
Yeah, that's me. And then some playing what I just
Yeah.
said. And then one of them is, you know, not feeling good and it's time to let go, but you're not letting them
Oh
go.
no, I watched you the whole time. You're doing that the whole time, and I'm going, "Oh no, he didn't just do that, did he?" That's awesome, and you're not just picking. That shows that the audience has got more to watch than just you talking to one person.
Right,
They can all connect with you.
right. Exactly. And so they're waiting like, oh, can I relate? Can I relate? You know?
Right.
So it's really interesting. And then a lot of times, as you heard me say at the beginning of the show, listen, I might be reading one person's question where I'm connecting to a loved one. But if somebody else who is watching could relate to the detailed messages that I'm giving to someone else,
Right.
if you can relate to it, then yes, this message is also for you.
Yes, and if it is relating to you, come on through and show that to me in the comment section, so I know that
That
we're
I don't suck.
there. Yeah.
Tell me that I don't suck. Comment. Say something.
Yeah, yeah, say something. Yeah, no, I've told everybody. I've told a couple. You actually are doing an interview with a friend of mine. His name is Dylan. He has a show, and I told him about you. I said, and
Thank you.
I told him about Steve, and I said, yeah, get a hold of Steve. I said, I'm doing an interview with Artie soon. You got to do an interview with this guy because he's like me. This guy's the real deal. So I think you should have him on your show. He's like, I will. So yeah, he said he's going to have an interview with him. I'm like, yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
you very much. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, because you're the real deal. I mean, it's I get it. It's tough out there. There are a lot of people who say they are this, but aren't, and they just they are more connected to your pocket than they actually are to spirit, and that it puts us a lot of with us in a bad light. And then, but then you have a lot of people out there who think we are their personal
Therapist.
yeah, therapist. Yeah, absolutely. And always calling us for that, or we are, or we're some type of a the when you go to the box and you put your quarter in and you get your little reading out of it, and it's not that way, you know.
Yeah, the Chinese fortune cookie. I call it the Jewish fortune cookie now.
Yeah, yeah, and we have to. That's why as a part of doing this show, I try to bring guests on, and as well as when I talk on there, to bring them out some truth because there's not enough truth out there. There's a lot of misconceptions due to society and TV and movies, and I'm trying to break that of people and break these bad habits of what they think we actually are. You know, because we're not glorified fortune tellers. We're actually trying to help you in your lives. So yeah, I make sure I try to bring that to everybody. But yeah. All about you already. I mean, yeah, I watch your show every time it comes on. I was like, oh shit, Artie's on. Hey, honey, and then my wife watches it from the other room.
I really do. Thank you so much. And also, when people bring this to your attention, when people bring this conversation to you, you know what you do that's against God or it's against my religion. So what I tell people.
Yeah.
It's all what your intentions are behind your actions.
Right.
If you're doing something positive with pure thought and pure meaning, then it's very good. It might be against your religion, but it's not against God because what I have is a God-given gift. And
Right.
I do things with the best of intentions, and I do communicate to angels. I do believe in angels. I believe in God. I believe in the spirit. I believe in all of that. So if you're telling me that what I'm doing, according to you and your religion, if you're saying that I do the devil's work, then I need to shake his hand and thank him, the devil, because he's helped me heal thousands of people.
Right.
So it's all what your intentions are. Now, unfortunately, are there people who do what we do with not good intentions and they take advantage or manipulate the people in the public? The answer is yes, but just like in every other business or endeavor, there are charlatans, whether it be electricians or plumbers or lawyers or car dealers or whatever. And the list goes on and on and on. So you have your good people and you have your bad people. So we just happen to be the good guys, the good ones.
Yeah, I had a friend I was talking to today. She said, I explain it like this with my mom. She said, if you order a package on Amazon, do you care if UPS or FedEx brings a package? And she says, no. She said, well, then that's the way I am. You know, if God can't bring you the message, then he sends me to bring the message for him.
Right.
If I'm not UPS, I'm FedEx.
Exactly. One way or another, we're going to get it there.
One way or another, you're going to get it, right.
Like Tom Bodette. We'll leave the lights on for you.
Yeah, we'll leave the lights on for you. Yeah, that's at the 8 Motel. Yeah, super right. Yeah. Oh boy. So, how can my listeners get a hold of you? I'm going to put your links up for your page, as well as your Facebook page and your regular website. But just so people can find you, how can you please tell my audience how they can find you?
Sure. If you go to artiehoffman.com, ARTIEHOFFMAN.com, you know, a lot of my information, I have videos up there. My Facebook live show every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I do free readings for 1 hour, connect to your loved ones and talk about your love life, past life, whatever you want to talk about. And I tell people I'm like a medium and Billy Crystal all wrapped up in one. I try to keep it going. Also, if you want a private reading, whether it be in person or over the phone, because I'm out of New Jersey, or FaceTime, you can call me at 1-900. I'm only kidding. 732
1-900 hot.
Yeah, 1-900. I got you.
I got you. All right.
732-778-7173. 732-778-7173. Or you can email me, artiehoffman@gmail. So, and I want to thank you so much for having me on your show. It was a blast.
Yeah. Thanks for being on my show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, you know what I enjoyed the best?
What's that?
I've talked to other mediums and to have on the show and stuff like that. But, you know, we just talked as regular people. As we talked as regular people, just talking about stuff that's surrounds our lives. It doesn't always have to be, like you said, because we are sort of like a counselor as well. And when we just talk about things that not just involves regular other people out there, we go through these things as well. So when we talked about relationships and all that, this is real stuff.
It's all connected.
Yes, it's all connected, and people need to realize that yeah, we do this. We talk to spirit, but we are regular people too, as you are a regular person as well.
And as you saw on my show, a lot of times when girls will ask me over the air, and they'll say, Artie, do you see me getting pregnant? And my common response to them is, well, yeah, once you stop watching my show and get in the bedroom, your odds go way up.
Yeah. Yeah, you should tell them. Yeah, you could be pregnant pretty soon. What's your phone number? Yeah. So.
And I see you having a boy, and I'm seeing the name Artie.
Artie, yes. You know, it begins with an A. That's what I'm pretty sure.
An A in the name. Artie, Archie. I don't know. First name, middle name. I'll take anything.
What I know is he's going to be part Jewish as well. Yeah.
That's right. Just don't yell out my name.
Yeah.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
No, yeah, don't we want to do that? That's for sure. All right, Artie, I appreciate you coming on my show.
It was a pleasure.
I could say this, but I hope you have a great life. I already know you do, because I can see the smile on your face. You come in with a smile on the face. You're going to leave with one. And And my thing is, I always tell everybody, be good and don't do any stupid shit.
There you go. Now, I want to leave you with your audience with this.
Oh, absolutely.
That I always say, the love and respect that you give is the love and respect you deserve.
Absolutely.
And thank you again for having me on your show.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day.
Until next time.
Yes, absolutely. Until Sunday when I come and watch your show.
There you go. I'll say hello to you.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
For more information about Artie, please visit his website at www.artiehoffman.com. That's www.artiehoffman.com. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time on Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson.